1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So that was R&B, and I know you're probably still fuming at the list. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna switch gears. And let's talk about hip hop, probably the greatest genre in music of all time. Let's talk about the top 5 hip hop projects to drop since 2010. My list starts off at number 5 with 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole. Now, if you know me, you already know the vibes. That is my favorite rapper. So there was no way I was making a top 5 list without him, first and foremost. But in reality, this is Cole's best project. Commercially, it did the best. Listening-wise, it did the best for me. Just the experience that 2014 Forest Hills Drive was as an album was just groundbreaking for J. Cole and his fans. And I think that this album was more special for J. Cole than any other album that he put out. And that is an important part of the whole process. For me, you know, I know J. Cole's not everybody's favorite. So even me mentioning him is controversial. But if you guys really think about the top tier artists in the game, he is one of them, and they're not many. So I'm giving his best project the top 5 slot at number 5. Coming in at number 4, Take Care by Drake. Now, if you know me, you know I am Nothing Was the Same over Take Care. But I am not blind to the fact that Take Care is Drake's best project. It came out at a very special time, and I just think that it was the album that Drake needed to bounce back from his first one. Now, a lot of people who are very critical of Drake consider this an R&B album, or they like to bring up the fact that The Weeknd had a very helping hand in this project. But none of that takes away from the greatness of it. And at the end of the day, Drake is a rapper. So this is a hip hop album, no matter which way you want to slice it and cut it. Especially when you're giving us records like Lord Knows and Look What You've Done, Underground Kings. Now, everybody knows I hate We'll Be Fine and I hate Make Me Proud. But this album was really special. Tell me, how'd you feel when you heard Shot For Me? You called your ex, right? I know you did. So for me, I'm gonna give this one number 4 slot on my top 5 hip hop albums. Coming in at number 3, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Mr. Kanye West. I know nowadays Kanye isn't everybody's favorite person, but just think about where you were when this album dropped. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of the most special hip hop projects to drop of all time. Just the way Kanye just led us up to it. The Good Fridays was just a special time. We were all clamoring around our computers waiting to hear what dropped. And then when we got the album, a lot of the songs that we heard before were on there, but they sounded completely different. And that's one thing I loved about Kanye with this album. When you hear songs like Runaway, and you hear songs like Devil in a New Dress, and my favorite Kanye West song from that album, Hell of a Life, and of course that epic song Monster with that amazing Nicki verse on it. It's undeniable how special this album was. If you ask Kanye West fans, they'll probably tell you this is his best project. I would say it's College Dropout, but that's another argument for another day. But all in all, I definitely think that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was a special project, and for that reason, I'm giving it my number 3 slot on my top 5 hip hop projects of the decade. Coming in at number 2, this was tough for me, but I'm giving it to Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. It is argued often that Kendrick Lamar put out 3 classic projects in this decade alone. Now, I'm gonna say 2, with it one being this one and the other one being To Pimp a Butterfly. I wasn't too big on Damn being a classic, as great as it was. But let's focus on Good Kid, Mad City. This album was legit a movie, and I begged for it to actually become a movie on Twitter, but it didn't work. But let's get to the music. With songs like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Backseat Freestyle, The Art of Peer Pressure, Swimming Pools, and of course Sing About Me, I think Kendrick Lamar painted an amazing picture of a day in the life of a kid in Compton who was literally just trying to get some pussy. And the way he did it, it was it was magical. I think for a debut album, even though a lot of people think Section 80 is a debut album, I consider Good Kid, Mad City the debut album. And for a debut album, I think it is just ridiculous how good this album is. Everybody knows that it is near and dear to my heart. I will go to the grave fighting for this album, but it is still my number 2 project of the decade. Coming in at number 1, the greatest collab album I've ever heard, Watch the Throne. Now, Jay-Z and Kanye West did something spectacular with this project. They changed the game. They kind of started the whole new wave of collab albums. It was a thing before, but it became even more of a thing after them. Watch the Throne is ridiculously special. From the album packaging, which I have the vinyl of, to records like Niggas in Paris, Otis, New Day, Murder to Excellence. This album is ridiculously special. I think Jay-Z as a rapper on this album did really, really well. I think Kanye as a rapper on this album did really, really well. Production-wise, I think the beats chosen and just the way everybody was just seamlessly involved in this project, it just painted an amazing, amazing picture for hip-hop. And I think the anticipation for the project was also another special thing. I remember Funk Flex playing Otis on the radio on repeat for probably like 2 hours straight. And as annoying as it was, I know I listened to all 2 hours of it. So, you know, to me, this album was just really, really near and dear to my heart. And I think, you know, it was an important time for two major hip hop stars, superstars at that. Let me not discredit those two gentlemen. And their bond, we don't know how strong it is at this point, but we know back then that it was super strong. And that album is just really, really special to me. So, coming in at number 1 for my top hip hop album of the decade, Watch the Throne. So there you have it. I know once again you're fuming. You're mad at me. But tell me how you feel. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Give me your list. My list is in the books. It's in the air. I've put it out there. So let me know what you think. And be sure to like this video. And if you have not done so yet, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's your boy Kojo, and I'm out of here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3.